Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sean over here at Brand Life Marketing. Today, I want to talk about the leaky bucket syndrome. This is a big issue in a lot of businesses today. We've had our marketing agency for years now, and one thing that we've learned over the years is that people will call in, message us, and they want to basically throw money at their marketing to think that they're going to get more deals and more, and just make more money, bottom line, right? In some cases, that's true. But what we found in most cases is that you have to check your bucket first. As you can see on this illustration, it's kind of funny, but it's true. Is that in this case, in the bucket, no matter how much water you put in that bucket, it's either going to flow out over the sides or it's definitely going to go out through the holes. Now, a lot of these holes, as we call it, in the bucket for the leaky bucket can be defined in a lot of ways, just like you see here. Missed calls, that's a really big one, and especially in small businesses. You got to have a way to figure out what you're going to do because of the missed calls. No automation, right? When someone calls, what happens after that, right? No follow up, which is a part of the automation and the missed calls, is like most people nowadays, and I've seen it across the board, they're good at calling back that first time, maybe that second time, but that third and fourth and fifth time beyond drops off. You can go to Google, you can check all the stats and see the numbers. Typically, in a sales cycle, it takes about 7 to 12 touches in order to close a deal down, no matter what product or service you had. So think about that for a minute. If you stop after the first or second, maybe even third time, you're already getting into an area to where a lot of people are. They're just not calling those people back, following up with their emails, the texts, phone calls. You've got to continue with the follow up process. Okay. So that's one of the biggest holes that we probably see. Social media, no visibility. Like most people think that social media, you can just post and the business will come in. That's just not true either. But you have to establish a social media presence. You need to make sure that you're on social media. Cover your bases. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business Listings. Most people miss out on that. um, TikTok. Everybody knows TikTok is important nowadays, depending on what kind of business or service you're in. But we've seen even attorneys make it really well on TikTok. So you got to at least have a presence on social media. So to kind of cover all this, as you realize, all this equals no growth, wasted time, and wasted resources. Now, before we move to the next slide, I want you to really think about your business as a bucket. Okay. Picture that in your mind for just a minute. Okay. You already know where your leads, hopefully, where your leads come from, your walk-ins, your referrals, all of these emails, text if you're getting them, whatever source, website, wherever that's coming from, goes into a bucket. It's like a funnel, but you've got holes in it. Now, I guarantee anybody that's listening to this, I can talk to you and ask you a series of questions. I guarantee I can find holes in your business and your sales cycle. That's why it's so important to talk about this before you start spending money at all on any type of marketing, ads, anything else you want to do that. Because all you're going to do is you're going to make the problem even bigger. You think this is holes in the bucket? Wait till you start putting money down in there and you start seeing that money fly out even more. So we're going to kind of jump to the next one because you have to understand this in order to get that mindset so that we take you to the next step, which is how to implement some things that are going to help you cover those holes, plug them, so then you're ready for any type of marketing, not letting leads slip through, your organic leads, by the way, not letting organic leads slip through, because we see that all the time. Like, I'll go back again and tell you the quick story. Over the past few years, every time someone calls in, we go through the process, maybe even getting them leads, because I'm going to tell you guys, leads are easy to get. I promise you, they're the easiest thing to get in the marketing world. That is not your problem. Your problem is, how are you following up with these leads? Are you nurturing these leads? Are you educating them? Because remember, just because they click on your website or your ad or see your flyer or walk in your front door doesn't mean that they're ready to purchase right now. And you have to think about that. So if they're not going to purchase now, what are you going to do next? Most people miss that next step because they're always concentrating on that first step of like, oh, they're going to purchase, right? But that's just not true. So you need to have those things in place for follow up, nurture, education, information, and then just, repeat and rinse and repeat, as they call it. Okay. So not following up on your prospects is the same as filling up your bathtub without first putting stopper in the drain. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I alluded to that earlier when I said that imagine your business as a bucket. Picture that in your mind and think about everything that goes in it and think about all the little things. I guarantee if we looked at it, if the missed calls, you're probably not getting back to all the ones that called. Heck, they probably moved on to the next, to the next business to get that service if you missed a call. Your website, if you're not getting back to them from some type of web chat widget or web form, I could go to probably 100 websites right now and they have a form to fill out and I'll type my information in. And guess what? I bet you money that most websites won't get back with me within 24 to 48 hours. And when they do get back with me, guess what? It's probably maybe email, even though I might have put my phone number in there as well. It's crazy. Do you think that I wait on stuff like that? I do not. I go find a company that's going to deal with me within a timely period because by the time I get to that point anyway, most of the time I'm ready to do something. Okay. If I'm not, I'm going to ask them what I need before I make that decision. So that is big, guys. So the whole point of this training today is to fill the holes in your bucket. Make sure you got a stopper in the drain because before you start doing anything else, you got to get all your bases covered with that. Okay. So we're going to kind of move right in here and I'm going to move this over just a little bit. So as you can see here, this is a quick win game plan that we implement into just about every one of our clients that come on board with Brand Lift Marketing, because gone are the days where we just bring people in, they spend money on their leads, we send them their leads, and then they come back to us and say, well, I think we're growing. I think we got a deal off of this one, that one. But as I dig in with them on calls, I realize that they're not following up. Most of them wouldn't even calling back that day. They wouldn't emailing. It was a 24, 48 hour or beyond before they would even try to get back in touch with them. So what we found out is that it wasn't a lead problem. It wasn't the marketing problem. It was a sales cycle and follow up and nurture problem. So if you look up here at the top on this particular slide, this is what we go by here at Brand Lift Marketing. We go by the engage, nurture, and convert, right? You got to be able to engage with people, whether that's, education, communication back and forth, calls, text, emails, videos like this, trainings. You've got to educate your clients, no matter if you're selling a product or service. You want to get them engaged. Once you get them engaged, then you can nurture them, okay? Through training, education, putting content out, even social media, YouTube, all those avenues and channels. And then your main goal is to what? Is to convert. You've got to be able to convert. The only way you're going to convert someone is to get that first engagement. They got to know who you are, right? That's the whole thing. If you follow, Grant Cardone and some of these guys, you've got to get attention because they have to know you first to do business with you. And then the whole saying is they got to know, like, and trust you. Well, if they're just getting to your website for the first time and maybe you're a service that's like an emergency situation, right? Plumber, roofer, whatever, sure, they may, act right away and go ahead and get your service for them. But if it's something that they don't need immediate on and they want to do some investigation, research, and check the reviews, you got to be ready for that, right? And you need to create that engagement. And then that nurturing cycle is what's going to get them to maybe see your reviews, maybe see your testimonials, see all the all the solutions that you've solved over the past with other clients so that they feel good about working with you. That's important. That's goes along with engagement and the nurturing. And then once they get to that third part of the cycle, which is convert, you've got to have many ways for what we call call to actions. You've got to make sure, just like in the previous training video, we talked about conversion friendly websites. You've got to have easy ways for them to convert, whether that's easy conversion to call you, fill out a form, or a web chat widget where you can start having some two-way communication from text and or email. You've got to have a way for them to easily reach you or purchase what you have. You can't just, drag them along, or they're going to jump and go to the next company that offers that. So that's why we're talking about all this today. So on the quick win game plan, we're talking about certain things like being able to integrate your Google chat button. A lot of people do not know this, that Google this, I think 2022, early 2022, maybe even the year before, they incorporated what's called a chat button, a Google chat button, but it's only available on phones at this time. But you've got to make sure that we go in there to your Google account, turn that switch on, and then point it into a system that you can have a little automation that can respond back to them, so you can start that engagement with them. That's the first part of the cycle, though, right? Engage. That's what's going to get you going. Same thing with integrating your Facebook Messenger. Same thing. They pop into there, they ask a question or make a comment. Guess what? You needed to come into a system where you can start engaging, get that engagement going with that first automation. Same thing with Instagram DMs. Now, the Instagram DMs, this just opened up this past year on DM side, to where you can hook your business Facebook account to our system. And then that way you can create that engagement right away. It's incredible to be able to get that going, because now you've got all these different channels. You're plugging your holes. All these things I'm talking about, guys, are the holes that you don't even see. We see them because we can see all the buckets. We see the holes, and these are the holes we want you to fill. Embedded website forms. Whether you've got a great website now or it needs improvement, you need the type of website forms that then, once it's submitted, that they'll have some type of automation reaching to them, and then you reach out to them right behind that, because you've got to get them engaged as quick as possible. And I'm going to keep using that word engaged because that is the most important word that you're going to see on the slide. Okay, so that was the forms. Integrated web chat widget. I know a lot of you may or may not have been on a website. Most of them are bottom right, little widget. Click on it. It allows you to either go find information, or some of them have a place to where you can ask a question. You got to have, that's like definite, you got to have on your website, because we see this all the time. If you've got pretty decent organic traffic already going to your website, you're missing out then if you don't have some type of communication like that. So with the right web chat widget, they can put their name, number, email in there, goes in the system. Once again, a little automation, start getting them engaged where you can jump in, right? Set up missed call text back. This next one is probably the most simplest one that will help you for sure make more money and leverage your time, because it can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Basic form is set up to where somebody calls in through the number. You miss the call for whatever reason, because sometimes everybody's busy, especially if you're a local service company. You miss that call, the system will text that person back and start getting them engaged so that they won't run off to the next business. We've seen that happen. That's why we incorporate this into our quick win game plan. It's a missed call text back. Really gets them going, keeps them there, and then you dive in and go try to close them down. Dedicated number for tracking. In the right kind of system, you do choose a number, maybe there's something, an area code local to you, so you can track anything coming in and going out for calls and text as well. That is very important. Having that two-way texting to communicate is very important, not only for reporting, but keeping that engagement going, and you continue that nurture cycle, and they feel like that they have that close touch with you like that. Last but not least on the quick win is, if you've had a business for 6 months, a year, or definitely even longer, and you've already got a list or database of people that you've either worked with that are clients, past clients, current clients, or even that were leads before that never really made it through and you never closed them down, we have a way in a system on our templates to where we can set something up for you so that you can reach back out to those past clients. You can reach back to your current clients. You can get in front of them very quick and easy with our strategy to get them back engaged again with you. There's the word again, engaged. Get them back engaged again and to stay top of mind, okay? And that's what you want. You need to continue that engagement. You need to stay top of mind so that the next time they need that product, they need that service, or they have questions about something, you need to be the one that is on their mind, right? And this is the way you do it. This is the quick win game plan that we put in place so that you can plug all those holes in that leaky bucket. Okay. Now, real quick on the missed call text back. This is kind of an example of how we would set it up, right? So they call in, it's missed call. The system knows to text that number back and then make a statement, ask a question, and just the simplest form. Hi, this is ABC Realty. I saw that we missed your call. How can we help? That's an open-ended question to get them engaged, right? You want them to put something in there. When they put something in there, 9 times out of 10, they're actually going to ask the question they're going to ask you on the phone. That way you can see the question. As soon as you get off the phone here or whatever you're doing, you can then jump in and either call them back, start the text, whatever you want to do to get back and forth going with that engagement. So never miss a lead again. I'm telling you guys, this is 24 hours, 7 days a week. So even if, let's say you go to bed early one night, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, right? You're in bed, got your phone off, and the number goes to your phone. You miss that call. Boom, they'll get that text. That way you can go ahead and get somebody engaged, because I'm telling you guys, you don't want to find out later that someone tried to get in touch with you and you didn't answer. And because you didn't answer, they went down the street and started working with someone else. It happens all the time, guarantee you. The next part of this is the nurture part of the cycle that we just talked about. Okay. And this is, as you can see on the screen here, I'm just showing you just a little bit tip of the iceberg. This is a follow-up automation that can be set up in the system so that when a trigger happens, a trigger meaning they submit a form, they submit a web chat on your website, they get into a landing page, maybe a phone call from their number. We have it set up to where it sets off a workflow automation. You can do simple things like to be able to send them a text, right? And you can craft it any way that you want to in that text. You can make it wait an hour. As you can see on here as an example, you can wait another hour, send another follow-up text, wait 24 hours, send another text, or anywhere in there. Those could also be emails as well, and or emails, right? Then wait an hour, 24 hours. So there's so many ways you can nurture a client or a potential client that is not ready without you having to physically every day having to call them or get on and text. You set that game plan in place, get it laid out on the automation. You can do that for a week, month, 6 months. We have some people that do nurture cycles out for a year, depending on your industry, right? And anywhere in that process too, you can stop the process for them and jump in, take them out of that flow and make them become your client. That's the whole thing to really getting these quick wins. So last but not least, this is kind of the whole game plan kind of laid out here for the engage, nurture, convert. These are the things that we want to help you with, that we can put in place for you. But you need to reach out to us, get a discovery call. Let's learn a little bit more about your business. Okay. We've got to know your sales cycle, your pipeline. We got to figure out what kind of buckets you got. And then so we can figure out the holes. I already know about 4 or 5 holes that everybody's got. We got that pretty well that we can cover it on our little quick win, but I need to know a few more things. But once we get your engage, nurture, and convert formula going, I'm telling you guys, this is a game changer. Just this past year, we've been able to transform hundreds of small businesses and medium-sized businesses to complete turnaround in their world from, because, having a CRM, a marketing automation, plugging your holes, having some uh, good engagement going back and forth through your social channels. And we're talking about all of this before you have to spend money on any kind of ads, any kind of other things. You want to get your holes in the bucket filled first so you can move on then to the next step. So we need to find out that first. So thank you for making it all the way through this training here. This is so important, guys. If you take nothing else from me, and you go anywhere else, remember, engage, nurture, convert. That is the whole concept. If you can't get the engagement going, you can't nurture them, you're not going to convert them, because I promise you 95% of the people that come to your page, your store, whatever way they come to, they're going to have to go through this cycle. And then you just simply repeat that with the right kind of system. Hope this helps, and we'll see you guys soon.